But that's all we have time for in this edition of the news. My name is Aminata Fofana. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to the Slbc.
You ready for the Zoom meeting today with the investor then?
Yes, boss. I'm ready for the meeting today. And I don't download all the reports they sent to me on the internet.
Make sure so you get super connection, because I don't want one problem during the meeting.
Everything is okay. Everything is fine.
Counting on you, even though we're not in the same office. I will be with you every step of the way.
As mama, I always want waiting best for me picking them, especially when it comes out waiting them for eat and drink. Now this make I always they choose Sierra juice because when they make come from with local food them and nutritious and it gets less sugar than the other drinks them. Not to me say so.
We lab test show say Sierra juice gets 50% less sugar than the other drinks them na the market.
Because we mama they know waiting best for we picking them, now you make we always they choose Sierra juice. Sierra juice is nutritious, it's healthy and it's sweet. Sierra juice, not the taste of Salone.
A place cannot produce poems. It can only not prevent them. And Freetown is good at that, for Freetown has its own sudden elegances. People are slow to leave it, quick to return. And there are others who come for a year or two and stay for a lifetime, sensing that they found a city that is in the world, yet sufficiently on the edge of it to have a different resonance. Let me tell you something about this city. All of us, we're all just passing through, and we've all been here forever. Those who came, those who stayed, those who never returned. Tides turn, seasons change, we've waited and we've watched. But we've always been here, we've always listened, because there is a different resonance here. It comes from the river, and the land, and the sky.
It's our place. All of us.
This city belongs to everyone.
And you know when it's your time.
And it's our time.
Listen, we are free.
We are Freetown. golden rules of Freetown.
Don't pretend you're something that you're not.
Don't go thinking you're better than anyone else.
Or that anyone else is better than you.
Don't shout about it. Get on with it.
We are Freetown.
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 Yeah.
We found our voice again.
I'm from India and Freetown.
I'm from China and Freetown.
I'm from the UK and Freetown.
I am from Nigeria and Freetown.
I am from home and Freetown.
This city belongs to everyone.
The fishermen,
the taxi driver,
the barber,
the drummers, dancers,
all of us.
All of us. Everybody. We are Freetown.
The past is ours.
The future is ours. It's our time again.
And this city belongs to everyone.
The playwright,
the greengrocer,
the teacher,
the dog.
This space is ours.
This light is ours.
The beaches are ours.
The rivers now we own.
The roads are ours.
The bridges now we own.
We are Freetown.
We are all visitors and we've all been here forever.
We've got the mightiest river.
And the biggest sky.
And there's a resonance again.
Freetown. Freetown.
We are proud of this place.
We love this city.
And we want you to love it too.
We are proud of this place.
Na pass we all dey pass like stranger dem, but we all don't dare from them. Come here, and you'll feel it, that end of the line sense of freedom. Say yes to Freetown. Say yes to freedom.
Today is Monday, the 24th of February, 2025, and it is a pleasant morning and a warm welcome to your program, Good Morning Sierra Leone, the program that always starts your day. I am Shakus Myra.
And my name is Francis Bernard. Our quote of the day comes from American writer Mark Twain, and it says, "Whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it is time to pause and reflect." This is food for thought. In the program this morning, Lawyers Society of Sierra Leone elects first executive at their first AGM. As PPRC suspends SLPP lower level elections in multiple constituencies, we shall be talking to a member of the Moyamba District Council. And Bible Society of Sierra Leone launches its sign language translation project. The stories plus more lined up in this edition of the program, Good Morning Sierra Leone. We ask you to participate by sending your comments and views to the number on your screen, or you go and follow us on our Facebook page, SLBC TV Live. The program is Good Morning Sierra Leone.
We are back, and the program you're still watching or listening to is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live from a broadcasting house, New Englandville in Freetown. Well, as you may have heard in the news, over 460 legal professionals from across the country have gathered in Freetown for the first ever annual general meeting of the Lawyers Society of Sierra Leone. The two-day event, which commenced on February 20th and ended on the 21st of February, took place at the Tea Hall Big Water Peninsula. The AGM marks a pivotal moment for the newly established legal body, providing an opportunity for members to elect their leadership and outline a vision for the future of the legal profession in this country. 10th, the role of lawyers in democratic governance. The meeting underscored the responsibility of legal practitioners in strengthening democracy, promoting justice, and ensuring accountability in governance. Augustine Sohi Sengbe Mara was elected as the first president of the Lawyers Society, with Waga Seri Kamal assuming the role of the vice president. Well, for more on this, we have in the studio the organizing secretary of the Lawyers Society of Sierra Leone, Charles Israel Williams. Good morning, Mr. Williams, and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you. Delighted to be here.
Okay, the Law Society. I know the Law Society is an aftermath of the Kenema AGM a year ago. Now tell us, what difference do you think you have to bring to the table, owing to the fact that there is an existing body representing all lawyers, I mean practicing lawyers in this country, which is the Bar Association. What difference do you intend making?
Okay, so let me start to address the issue of there is an existing body representing all lawyers in Sierra Leone. Membership of the Bar Association is optional, it's not automatic, and it's not mandatory. When we are called to the bar, we are called to the Bar of Sierra Leone. The Bar Association is just an organization, it's an institution. So we are not called to the Bar Association. So you can be a lawyer in Sierra Leone and choose not to be a member of the Sierra Leone Bar Association.
So as you speak, are you not a member of the Sierra Leone Bar Association?
I am a member,
okay,
but I chose to become a member. It's not automatic.
Okay.
You mean what allows you or what qualifies you to practice law in Sierra Leone? Because in my introduction, I did say practicing lawyers.
Yeah.
And
so,
for you to practice law in Sierra Leone, you have your criteria, right?
Yeah.
So I was guided by saying, but practicing lawyers, yes, you can be a lawyer in Sierra Leone, but you're not practicing. So I'm talking about practicing lawyers.
Okay, so that is why, from your introduction, that is why I want to correct this information. All lawyers who practice in Sierra Leone, they belong to what we call the Outer Bar of Sierra Leone, UTTER, the Outer Bar of Sierra Leone. So when they say the bar, it's not referring to the Bar Association. But all lawyers are members of the Bar of Sierra Leone, the Outer Bar. So Bar Association is just an organization, an association of lawyers, which is not compulsory, it's not mandatory. You can become a member or not become a member. If you're not a member of the Bar Association, it does not prevent you from practicing law in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
Fine. Having said that, the Lawyers Society is another organization or association of lawyers. And it's also not mandatory, it's not compulsory. For example, the membership we have now, all of them, including myself, registered and paid subscription, paid conference fees before we could attend. So we're saying that it has appeared in the past that it's only the Sierra Leone Bar Association that is the safe space for lawyers. And that assumption or presumption has been abused. And that is why we have decided, there are different ways to solve a conflict. Instead of you fight or war, you could choose some other alternative. So what we have decided is to abandon the hijacked Bar Association and create another space.
Now, when you say hijacked, yeah. That is quite a very huge, allegation in a way,
yeah.
About the Sierra Leone Bar Association, because you guys are the ones, who are there to ensure we know what is in the laws. And if such an organization has been hijacked, it is worrisome in a way, because we are in a democracy, and the thing for your AGM is strengthening democratic good governance also. And if in an institution that deals with law, and democracy is about the rule of law, then it means we are supposed to be worried.
Okay. So and that aspect of us being worried is the reason why we created a space and an association which is not susceptible to an hijack. After the Kenema situation, that very evening, we saw videos of politicians dancing and celebrating the so-called winners of the Kenema election. That body, as far as we are concerned, is illegitimate and cannot provide leadership for the Sierra Leone Bar Association. And so that is why we now have the Lawyer Society.
So, Mr.
The Lawyer Society is not susceptible to hijack, to control, to influence of any political party at all.
Mr. Williams, you are a member of the Sierra Leone Bar Association, according to what you've said, and you were once vying for this same position that you've got today for the Lawyer Society, and you were vying for this position. Is it because you were not elected in office for the Sierra Leone Bar Association? That's why you now feel that the Sierra Leone Bar Association does not worth its salt.
Okay, so in the Sierra Leone Bar Association, I was vying for public relations office. And you said because I did not succeed, that is why we now have the Lawyer Society.
It's just a question.
No, I understand. Yeah, that's the question. In the first place, there were no elections held. No elections. What happened in Kenema was a premeditated action taken by lawyers who are so unprofessional in terms of striking the balance between being a lawyer and a politician. Now, if you look at what happened at the inaugural launch, AGM of the Lawyer Society, you would see how, in fact, the journalists were there. For the first time, we agreed, it was a motion moved, and we agreed that the election should be covered by the press, so that we show how an election is done in a civilized society. Names were called, lawyers picked up their ballot papers, and after everything, everybody has received the ballot paper, then the positions were announced, and then the process started.
Okay, so
in Kenema, nothing like that. In fact, we have the videos, so we don't need to be talking about these things. So there was no election, there were no elections, and so you cannot even say because you did not win, there were no elections.
Okay, so let's move past Kenema now and go to the AGM. What's the difference between your constitution and that of, is it the M&A of the Sierra Leone Bar Association?
Yes.
What's the difference?
Okay, so now, let me just try to pick out certain differences because I will not be able to give all of it. The first difference is that members of this Lawyer Society are legal practitioners in Sierra Leone and also legal practitioners who are Sierra Leoneans in other countries. So if you practice law in another country, then you are qualified to be a member of the Lawyer Society because you are a Sierra Leonean. That is one difference. The other difference is that in the Lawyer Society Constitution, if you are a politician or you are actively involved in politics or political party activism in Sierra Leone, you are in the forefront of any political movement, you will not lead the Lawyer Society. However, lawyers are free to belong to any political party of their choice, but you cannot lead if you are in the forefront promoting a political party agenda.
So in other words, are you saying that, you know, if somebody is politically exposed, for example, if you are a practitioner, you are a legal practitioner in Sierra Leone, but you are politically exposed, it means automatic disqualification, you know, of you leading the Lawyers Society of Sierra Leone. Is that what you say? But now, in your own case right now, Israel, you are a bona fide, you know, member of the Sierra Leone Bar Association. I mean, PIROP.
Yes.
And now you are also an executive member in this new arrangement.
Yes.
Don't you think there is going to be some form of conflict of interest? You've been a member of the Sierra Leone Bar and now an executive member of the Sierra Leone Law Society. Because now you've already discredited the Sierra Leone Bar Association as saying, in your words, that it has been hijacked, it lacks the legitimacy, you know, it lacks what it takes for it to exist. as a bar that represents, or as an association that represents lawyers in this country. So, one, divided loyalty. Second, conflict of interest.
Okay, thank you so much. I love the question. Let me start by answering it this way. The Sierra Leone Bar Association is still an organization recognized by all lawyers. The problem is its leadership as at today is illegitimate. We are not talking about the organization, the Sierra Leone Bar Association. We're talking about the leadership.
But the leadership runs.
To effect the change.
The leadership runs.
We are still there.
The leadership runs the organization.
Yes.
Yeah? Yes. So if that leadership is seen to be illegitimate, then it means whatever they do is illegitimate
and not the organization. So we have to be clear that, for example, in Sierra Leone now we have governors. Okay, we have leaders. And it's a dispensation. There will come a time they would go, how long it takes. But the country remains. So you cannot say because the leaders, present leaders in Sierra Leone are doing ABC, so it's Sierra Leone. America, for example, we used to say Biden administration. Now Trump is there. So administrations do not determine what the organization.
But do you continue to pay your subscription to an illegal, executive? Will you continue to pay your annual subscription to an illegal executive?
Okay.
And
now, it is not the executive you pay subscriptions to. It's the same thing like in the country. When we pay local taxes, when we pay city rate, are we paying to politicians? No, we're paying to Sierra Leone. Do you say if you're not happy with the status quo as to those who are leading Sierra Leone now, you will not pay taxes? You will not pay your driver's license? You will not pay your building? No. Institutions are institutions. Those who govern them are separate. The issue here is we have to understand that if you pay subscription to the Sierra Leone Bar Association, you are not paying it to the individuals who are running the organization. If I pay taxes in Sierra Leone, I'm not paying it to those who are running Sierra Leone. We have to be clear. And so the aspect of conflict of interest, there is no conflict of interest.
Okay.
There is no conflict of interest.
What about divided loyalty?
Good. There is no, in fact, there is no divided loyalty, because what the Lawyers Society is about to do or is coming to do has nothing to conflict with what the Sierra Leone Bar Association. In fact, the Sierra Leone Bar Association, since its hijack, has not been performing its role.
Okay.
Since its hijack. So there is no conflict here. If you have an organization that has not been performing, and for example, we are talking about the Safe Motherhood Bill. What role did the Sierra Leone Bar Association play? You hear about the CCSL, you hear about the Interreligious Council making contributions to say, oh no, this law is this. In fact, this law does not define gender, because gender has to be male, female, as Trump says. Now, what role did the Sierra Leone Bar Association?
Okay,
so that organization has been dormant, inactive, and very legitimate as to the fact as those who are claiming it to be leaders.
All right, okay, thank you so much. And Israel, and he is the newly elected organizing secretary of the Sierra Leone Lawyers and Society. And the program you're still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone.
Yes, continue to stay with us. And if you have questions for Mr. Williams, you do send them to the number on your screen, or go to our Facebook page, Slbc Tv Live. We go to another issue. The Sierra Leone Sign Language Bible Translation Project has been launched through Bible Society of Sierra Leone. The project is important because it allows deaf people to read the Bible in their own language, which can improve communication and help them understand the gospel message. In the studio with us this morning, for more, we have the Deputy Secretary General of the Sierra Leone Bible Society of Sierra Leone, Raymond Jarrett. Good morning, Mr. Jarrett. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you.
So how is this done? Let's talk about how you go about doing this?
Yes, Bible Society, translation is the backbone of our existence. Of course, we've translated the Bible into different Sierra Leonean languages, and you can find them in various websites. Secondly, the sign language is very important. You know, interestingly, most people have neglected the deaf people, the deaf community. When you talk about the deaf, they look at them as those begging at PZ, those going houses to fetch food and other substances. But unfortunately, they are equally important as both of us. Now, the Bible Society deemed it fit that the Word of God should reach these people. Most of the time when they go to churches, they don't follow the service because their language is sign. And when the preachers preach, they speak English and they talk verbally. They don't understand. The ones that do lip reading manage to follow the services. But here is a situation. Language is power. We have Mende Timini, Limba, Creole. It's our languages. Some of us talk different languages. But for the deaf people, their own language is sign language. That is their language. That's the language you understand. That's the language they talk. And you cannot say the deaf should go to church without their Bible. Now, for the deaf, their own Bible is visual and not audio. It's visual because it's important for them to see the stories of the Bible being signed and they understand. And so Bible Society deemed fit that we should bring them along because the Word of God is not just for the sighted and those that can read and write. Even the deaf, they too have their story. So that's why Bible Society deemed fit to bring them along. And what happened? We recruited 4 translators from the deaf community. These people have never worked before, but Bible Society took them, trained them locally, and then sent them to Kenya for a 6-month period. After that training, they returned home. And when they came, they started to do their work. Bible Society, in partnership with, we call them okay, I'll give you their name later. Bible Society, in partnership with this organization, helped to set up their studios. The fact that they are signed, you have to get a full studio for them with equipment so that they can record the Bible verses and play it for their colleagues so that they too.
Now, Mr. Jared, when this translation, are we talking here about both the Old and the New Testament?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Interestingly, these people, some of them cannot read. Those that can read cannot explain. The only sign. Because for me, I can read the Bible and explain it to you. Because I can.
No, the thing is, let us try to understand this particular move, this initiative that you've taken. It is for your Bible studies or probably for Sunday services or weekly services, as the case may be, wherein when the pastor is preaching or delivering a sermon, somebody has to be doing this sign language or so. Let us know.
Interestingly, the churches, most of the churches have deaf people going to their churches, attending services. But they are not given the facilities. They don't have sign interpreters. So they go to church and they return without any spiritual gain. But in this situation, we are doing the Bible for all the deaf in the entire country. The deaf.
How many Bibles are we talking about?
We cannot quantify them now because when they complete it, they are all videos.
Okay.
They are all videos. When we complete it, we will make sure we circulate it to all the blind community, all the deaf community. They are very important. And
so for the blind, it is going to be an audio.
Yeah,
right?
of course, the blind we've given them audio.
And the deaf is going to be sign.
Sign.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
Exactly.
So do we have enough sign language teachers to be going around some of these churches to help people?
Yeah, that is one of our targets, to get the churches, send representatives to be trained in sign narration, so that at the end of the day, during their service, most of the churches have deaf people attending, but if you cannot sign to them, they won't understand. That's why now they are having their own churches. They are having their own churches.
You mean separately?
Yes.
Wow.
Go to Scripture Union on Sunday, you will meet them there, 74 Pademba Road. They have their own service that they are running completely. And the interesting thing, when I attended their service, I was shocked.
Wow.
They normally sing, their songs are signed.
So even their pastors
are signed.
Are they also impaired?
Yes.
Okay, they are impaired.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Jarrett, thank you so much. He is Raymond Jarrett, Deputy Secretary General of the Sierra Leone Bible Society. And the program you're still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone. Quickly, let us move to something different. And this time around, it has to do with the Sierra Leone Electricity Water Regulatory Commission, SLEWRC, which has held a public consultation in the western area on the review of the multi-year tariff order. This process aims to engage stakeholders to discuss on improving the regulatory framework for mini-grid tariff as a way to ensure fairness and cost-effective pricing, particularly in the rural areas. We're in the studios for more on this is the Director General of the Sierra Leone Electricity Water Regulatory Commission, Emmanuel Mana. Good morning, Mr. Mana, and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Good morning, Executive.
Okay, Mr. Mana, now...
Sorry, I have to talk a little bit right now.
Okay, that is understandable. Now tell us, you are in this studio at the time to talk about tariff when we all know the power outage situation in the capital. So it's like don't be surprised if questions around those will come around. But tell us more about this particular move you've taken.
So thank you, Dave, for bringing me here this morning. I appreciate it. Of course, as you already said, electricity is always the case. Very, very interesting. The commission itself is regulated to jealous to water, electricity. Anywhere I go, those discussions are always on. But again, we're here this morning to talk on one aspect of the electricity sector. The sector itself is divided into two main areas. We have the main grid. The main grid, we talk about EGTC, generation, EDSE distribution. We have the mini grid sector. When we talk about mini grid, if you go across the road, those small villages, since we come into power of His Excellency the President, we'll be able to electrify most of these communities across rural Sierra Leone. So that's the component called mini grid. Historically, that system started immediately after Ebola. We needed a cooling system at community, CHGs, community health centers, to keep our vaccines in the right temperature. So that was the math of the mini grid. Development partners came together and facilitated small systems. Electricity is always demand driven. You see one bulb here, you want another bulb there. So when chiefs and community elders started seeing those little bulbs and those communities, they started requesting for their own part of that electricity to be transferred in their homes. That started escalating to what we call demand suppression. Because they were connecting other non-factors houses, they suppressed demand. So we noticed demand outweighed the supply at the time. So the development partners and the government tried to feed that. Okay, now we cannot continue doing this in a sustainable way. So let's see how we can bring private sector to come into play and see how they can facilitate supply of this electricity to a larger communities in different ways. So we brought in private sector participation. We develop a tool at a time to determine the price people will have to pay for the electricity at that time at those community level. That tool was a little bit not too potent. As we move, it was really a pilot. I always have been saying that as we move along the implementation of that project, we started noticing some gap and some challenges. Worst to that situation was when we had the Russia-Ukraine war, when the global economy almost tanked. In our situation here, our local currency depreciated hugely. The tariff at the time was determined in US dollar cents. So when we tried to index that at the time, we noticed our community people, the local people, the poor people were not able to pay for the price at the time. So we decided to pause almost a year plus ago. The government asked that we do some analysis. So we did some analysis. We always have the options. The people will have to do their business. The private man is an investor. There is a cost attached to this. So we pause and try to review the tool at the time. The tool is just a formula. So that we can move it forward, we can capture some of the major issues that led to that collapse of the system at the time. That has led to the last 1 year or so. Those communities are complaining a lot that service availability has been poor.
Okay, Mr. Mana, you know, we are coming back to you because it's time for us to go for a very short break. He is the Director General of the Sierra Leone Electricity Water Regulatory Commission, Emmanuel Mana. We go for a very short break and we'll be right back.
As a mother of the house, whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need pounding palm fruit. All I need is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. My soup is done, and its preparation, it is not difficult at all. Nkulenu palm soup base, it's easily done with no difficulties. Just take few ladles and your soup is done. And its flavor, it's amazing. This is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. And this is Nkulenu's Ghana's original spiced palm soup base. Iron fruit and turkey berries are naturally added.
Also available brown gold natural cocoa powder, sunny gold brown sugar, neat fufu flour, shito, pisa, and moringa. All available at Nyami Ado Enterprise, 1 Lower Waterloo Street, Freetown.
Nkulenu palm soup base.
Ghanaian original taste.
We are back, and the program you're still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone. Well, before we went for that very short break, we are talking to the Director General of the Electricity and Water Regulatory Commission, Emmanuel Mana. Now, Mr. Mana, you're talking about this mini-grid program now.
Okay, so as I was saying, I was just talking about the migration from the old tool to the new tool. So the tool itself, as I said, is a formula that factor in costs. Electricity is business. Those selling it normally have costs, so we make sure we factor all the costs into the formula and make sure we get an output, which is a price, which is a tariff. So the new tool we review now is a little bit potent that can capture all future potential eventualities, including what we call triggers, and also most of the business people across the world mini-grid space normally get what we call subsidies and grants that people give them to come provide electricity for the public. That's true. Those grants were never disclosed. Also, in the current tool, we now have what we call triggers for currency depreciation and inflation. Of late, you can hear the economists talking about inflation going down. So in this new tool, whatever happened in the market is inputted to the new tool to make sure we adjust the tariff accordingly. That's exactly.
But the thing is, this tariff adjustment, you know, Mr. Mana, a lot of people are saying that, you know, value for money has become, you know, something they have to question. Somebody goes, buys a tariff, you know, prepaid. I mean, that he or she has units in his meter, but there is no electricity. And at the end of the month, you know, you pay meter charge. And this has been a concern, and you are the ones regulating, this sector. What have you done about that? I don't know if you've been hearing people saying I have units in my meter, but no electricity. And at the end of the month, when you go to recharge, meter charge is deducted, and this has been a concern, Mr. Mano.
So again, I don't want to go into the main grid. That's why I separated it.
Okay, the main grid, but
the main grid is really EDSA. So we are doing major reform in that sector. I will talk around that briefly.
No, there's the mini grid, but you see, the thing is now, what your presence here is situational.
Right.
You are coming at a time when this is a concern.
Yeah, I have to talk around it.
Intermittent power outage is a concern.
It is. Let me just talk a little bit around the mini thing. So, as I was saying, the same problem you're talking about is happening within the rural communities, but the major factor there is because the tool we used at the time was not potent enough to capture macroeconomic changes that may have to happen in the future. So now this new tool has captured what we're talking about, availability factor. If we have to allow you operator to operate in Daru, for instance, you have to assure us of minimum availability of electricity to the communities. We target around 90%. During the conversation, the investors, operators advise that we bring it down a little bit to 85–80%. Meaning, if we give you our license next, with all after validating the tool, you should be able to provide electricity to Daru at whatever price at 80% at the minimum. If you fall below that, then we'll have to take you.
So in other words, your concern more, what you're here to talk about is something that has to do with the independent power producers, under the communities, under the PPP arrangement.
Yeah, that was it. But now we're talking about the regulatory arrangement.
Okay, so you think this recent intervention will help address some of the issues you just highlighted?
Exactly, because what happened, the initial arrangement was done, I don't want to say in haste, but I only call it pilot. So the investors put their money into the system here, into the scheme. We are also not too around what was operating here. So in the conversation during the town hall, we brought them off across some flew in from America, Europe, London, to make sure they come and understand the operation of what's happening. So the investors who are in the room, we all decided to make sure we understand the tool we'll be using moving forward. So there is issue around affordability, there is issue around sustainability. How can we make sure this electricity supply is continuously sustainable moving forward? At the same time, how can we make sure the rural communities can afford whatever price it might be charging? So that brought in other factors. We're talking about feed salon. How can we make rural electrification potent enough to facilitate irrigation in community? So most of the business people can go into that community, utilize that electricity, pay for it, so that we can be able to subsidize that poor man in that small village that cannot afford. So these are the things we're trying to open up in the tool. So most of that
so Mr. Mana, this morning when you are talking about small villages getting electricity, to be honest, I was surprised, I was shocked, because if you move around, you travel from Freetown to Bo, let's say, okay, to Makeni, I wonder if we have any village along this two highways that I'm talking about with availability of electricity. So I was wondering where the villages you are talking about.
We have them a lot. Masheka has one, Muyamba Junction, Freetown. We have them at Daru in Kono, we have them across.
Okay, how effective is it?
But that's the challenge, because of the tool and the challenges we had before. We have a lot of complaints around service availability. Operators also complaining of consumers not paying for electricity. So this is where.
But then the consumers also, Mr. Mana, complaining that the electricity you're talking about can only light a bulb. cannot ice their water.
Yes. We're talking about capacity. I talk about productive use.
Now, yes.
So we want to make sure business people.
So now,
profit, yeah,
okay, now that is the next. That is okay. That is now what you work on. Because to be very honest, Mr. Amanda, you go to these villages you've mentioned, you only see an electricity that can only light a bulb.
I told I told you the concept.
Have business people in that community.
And the business people are the ones that can pay.
Okay.
So
all right.
Thank
you very much, Mr. Mana. Continue to stay with us. He is the Director General of Slewrc. The program is Good Morning Sierra Leone. We soon go to another guest, but quickly let's go back to you, Mr. Williams. You know, I'm just going through your constitution, and according to you, under your Article 4, your aims and objectives, you said you are to promote peace and protect and defend the rule of law, human rights, and liberties of all persons as set out in national, regional, and international instruments, to promote unity among legal practitioners, to defend the integrity of the legal profession and the independence of both organization and the judiciary of Sierra Leone. You know, to protect all legal practitioners and also the legal profession. This is a huge task, owing to the fact that you have some members who are not members of Lawyer Society. How are you going to do this?
Okay, so most of the time there are people who would want to see what you do, how effectively you do it before you can attract them. Of course, while all of this is going on, you have certain lawyers who have said, you know what, let me sit on the fence and watch this, drama unfold. So yes, we have a task to ensure that we are able to attract a lot more lawyers. And as I said earlier, there is no conflict between Sierra Leone Bar Association and the Lawyer Society. It is possible in the future, when everything might have come to, normalcy, that we could work together. For example, you have other lawyers associations that are existing, like lawyers, the women. You have Legal Link. In those days, we used to have LOCLA. Okay, so there are institutions of lawyers. All we want to see is that we are able to work together and promote a common cause, the rule of law and all of that. Because
Mr. Williams, if you wake up one morning and the current leadership of the Sierra Leone Bar Association says, okay, we all want to see our members together now, we are no longer interested in heading the Sierra Leone Bar Association, and then they step aside, what will happen to the lawyers as the Lawyers Society?
Okay. So basically, that is a decision for the future. What we see now is that if the issues around the Sierra Leone Bar Association are resolved, we as lawyers can also determine what happens going forward. So, as we have been saying to some people who've asked similar questions like, well, what if the issues at the Sierra Leone Bar Association are resolved? What happens to the Lawyer Society? It is possible because, mind you, the Sierra Leone Bar Association, because that was the only association of lawyers existing in Sierra Leone, you have certain constitutional instruments which have made provisions for inclusion of lawyers through the Sierra Leone Bar Association, like in their boards and things like that. So that is why I said we are not duplicating anything here. What we have realized is that the Sierra Leone Bar Association, for now, based on its M&A and the policies, it is simply susceptible to interference.
All right, okay.
And so that is the issue here.
All right, okay, Israel, thank you so much. I know the issues are many. So you need an exclusive program to discuss all of those.
Yeah.
But we now move on to another issue. It has to do with intra-party politics. And it is about the ruling SLPP. The Political Parties and Regulation Commission has placed a temporary hold on lower level elections for the ruling Sierra Leone People's Party SLPP in several constituencies across the country, pending the resolution of petitions submitted to the Commission. In a press release issued on February 20th, 2025, the PPRC announced that all constituencies in local districts in the Northwest region and several others in the northern, eastern, and western regions are affected by the suspension. Specifically, elections have been halted in Bombali District Constituency 38, as well as in multiple constituencies across Kono, Ailang, Kenema, Bu, and Moyamba districts. In the western area, elections have been suspended in constituencies spanning both urban and rural districts. Meanwhile, with reference to the above suspension released by the PPRC, in the studios we have a councillor from Moyamba district, and Councillor Joseph. Joseph, good morning.
Good morning.
So petition issues, and I know you are also a concerned party member, or a councillor for that matter, representing the SLPP. So in Moyamba, what happened?
Well, I don't want to talk for the entire Moyamba district, but I want
in your own constituency.
My ward and constituency.
And which ward is that?
Ward 337, Kombora Chiefdom.
So what happened? So what happened?
We have a lot of problem in the sectional and chiefdom election. For us as a chiefdom, we didn't do election. They do selection. They select sectional executive, whilst there were
it is selection by consensus, or what?
Not even by consensus.
Okay.
They did it their own way. The chiefdom executive, few sets of them, and the former councillor did that.
The former councillor?
Yes.
So that led to you taking the matter up with the PPRC?
Yes, sir.
But now the PPRC has taken, the ultimate decision of suspending activities, lower level elections in that part of the country. Is your ward affected by PPRC's decision?
I don't know. I have to be honest.
But the thing is that why you should have gone to the PPRC first for you to know, because now there's a press release to the effect. PPRC,
I heard about Moyamba for Moyamba district, but I don't know if my chiefdom is involved in that.
Okay, so Mr. Sise, have you informed the hierarchy of the party? First, your district, because you have your leadership at district level, and then you have the national. Did you do that before coming to the media?
Yes. Just after the election, because they gave us, if we have any complaint, 48 hours, which I did on Monday, just after the election, Saturday. I did it on Monday. That was last week on Monday. I made my complaint letter to the national chairman and copy the PPRC. I copy PPRC, the Secretary General, and my PC. I made copy to the paramount chief of my chiefdom.
What has been the feedback?
I've got no feedback up till now. That's why I decided to come to the media, because if I sit down as the sitting councillor, it's going to be a problem.
No, but the thing is, now, the other affected wards of constituencies, they took their petitions to the PPRC, and our PPRC has decided by suspending, elections, constituency elections in these affected areas. And you are yet to know if yours is also affected. The word you're coming from. You are yet to ascertain. So the question is, why didn't you go first to PRC to know, where you stand?
Yes, that's so true. I should have done that. But for now, I've got the platform to be in the morning coffee.
But it's not like putting the cart before the horse.
Well, I don't want to take it that way. I believe it's another step to help me to get justice for my people.
Okay, so Mr. Sise, let's talk about the people that you are referring to have selected people into positions instead of them going through the normal process. Who are these people?
Well, I have to say they are my people. By sections.
So don't you think na John Pamaito with John is?
Well, I'm not going for put it that way because if the party gets a structure, the political party has a structure. We have a constitution and the gazette that guides us to go through the election. If you don't have a membership card updated one, then you don't belong. You don't have to belong there to be there on that election.
So you must have a membership
updated one.
So let me now tell you that 2 weeks ago I interviewed Lima, the National Publicity Secretary for the SLPP, and he said they have concession. They work with the chiefs to say, okay, if you do not have a party card, but if you have been actively involved in party activities and you've shown allegiance to that party, you'll be allowed to vote. He said so. I interviewed him on radio when we had the same issue in Kenema.
That's a very good one. It's a very good one.
So were you not informed that concessions were going to be given to certain people?
I was never informed, and as a political leader in my locality, I believe I'm the first gentleman as the sitting councillor in my locality. As the sitting councillor, they did all what they did without informing me. I've never attended none of their meetings by doing these sectional selections they did. And the old ones that were there, that was in the gazettes, we are not informed.
So what? Okay, probably now the thing is now, Miss Councillor, your party has structures.
Yes.
The second highest decision-making body in your party is the National Executive Council, your committee, the NEC or so. Have you taken up this with members of the National Executive Committee?
Well, I've made my complaint to national level. I've made my complaint. My complaint letter is there, just as I said from the starting. They have my complaint letter, but I don't know what's the way forward.
So the way forward now, there is PPRC, the body that regulates political parties. Don't you think it's high time you went to PPRC for you to know the way forward?
Yes, sir. You are perfectly right. But being that I have the platform this morning for the morning coffee, I have to make use of it. While during the day, I will do the same thing at PPRC. And I've said it before coming here that today I will go to the PPRC.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Joseph Sise, a councillor in Moyamba. Well, he's also one of those petitioning the zonal or section in the provinces. Section. But then quick, let us just go through some of the headlines in our papers this morning. Few papers have been selected for this edition. I want to start with, and we have to do it very fast. I start with the Premier News, which says President Bill acclaims with Continental Awards for transformative gender policies. And also in the Premier News, Safe Motherhood Bill could make history, but it faces a pushback. These are some of the stories you can see in the Premier News newspaper.
From the Premier News newspaper, we go to the African 24. Africa 24 with so many stories, but as my colleague said, we just go through few. Bill gets 2 Continental Awards. This goes with the picture of President Julius Maada Bio and the former president of Burundi. And Samsumana preaches peace and unity. Can Mohamed Kalon prove it? This is a question with a photo of Mohamed Kalon as being appointed the head coach of the national team. Of course, SLPP elections in mixed feelings.
Yes, I move on to the Concord Times, and the Concord Times says Parliament orders immediate closure of an Ecomed Medical Center. President Bill honored with 2 Continental Awards. Well, APC's Jagaban launches Agricultural Pro Foundation in Masiaka, donates 60 million new loan to farmers. There are so many other stories which you can have a copy of.
From that, we go to the Standard Times newspaper. Standard Times is inter-party violence is not an option. Major Sengu breaks silence. I'm sure this is also speaking to the issue we are discussing.
Yeah, the one Israel was talking about.
And another story on the front page of the Standard Times is ex-president Momo's wife inspires young women and disabled. These stories plus more to find in the Standard Times.
Now, there are other stories here in the local newspaper, and this one says IGP warns police officers abuse of power will be met with severe sanctions. Falaba Lands Ministry operates from Market Corner as surveyor appeals for office. Well, the Sierra Leone Electricity and Water Regulatory Commission engages stakeholders in nationwide review of energy tariff regulations. That is what Mr. Mana is here to talk about. These are stories in the Awoko newspaper.
From the Awoko, we go to the Awareness Times newspaper. Awareness Times with so many stories as John Sumaila is sent to chair Rokel Bank Board. H.E. Madabil reshuffles top of civil service. Conrad Saki raises more alarms over non-uploads by errant schools. And finally, PPRC suspends lower level SLPP elections in multiple constituencies.
Okay, yes. AYB News says Kamarimba accuses the EU leadership of wanting to quiet him. Sierra Leone, Qatar strengthening bilateral commitments. Well, these are some of the stories, but because of time, we have to go to our guest for a few seconds each to just say their parting words or statements. But for that, we'll start with Mr. Mana from the Sierra Leone Water and Electricity Regulatory Commission. Quickly, in a few seconds, what do you have to leave with the people? What's your assurances?
So the assurance to the public is that with a new tool, we want to make sure the consumers win, also investors win, operators win, government win.
And Sheku, before we let him go, he said he was going to talk about the main grid at least 2 seconds or 5 seconds, because that's what people want to hear.
Yeah. With the main grid, it's clear we are doing serious reform within the EDS and EGTC. We want to bring private sector to take over the distribution component, so that when they buy, EDS is buying electricity and selling it to us, but they will not be able to pay. So we want to bring private people that can buy and sell this electricity and make it sustainable. So
okay, thank you so much. You know, that could be a whole day. Yes, Mr. Jarrett. How decentralized is this particular move? Translating the Bible into for impaired, physically impaired people. Quickly.
Yes, of course we are involving all the districts because during the launching, the deaf from different chiefdom and communities we are present, and we are making sure that far and wide, even Kono that are having sign language problem with the deaf because they don't have a sign language school, so they have a problem. They too we are involved.
So it is all inclusive. The councillor, and from here, are you going to the PPRC?
Why not the party office?
No, well, the party office is my house. I can say that because I'm always there.
All right, thank you very much. So this is how we bring the curtain down for today's edition of Good Morning Sierra Leone. Many thanks to our guest for being part of the program, and special thanks to our producer Daphne Zainab Kamara for putting the program together. Francis Bernard is my name, wishing you a wonderful day. Good morning Sierra Leone. It turns tomorrow.
I am Sheku Sumaila, wishing you have a splendid day. Good morning. Sierra Leone returns tomorrow.
As a mother of the house, whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need pounding palm fruit. All I need is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. My soup is done, and its preparation, it is not difficult at all. Nkulenu palm soup base, it's easily done with no difficulties. Just take few ladles and your soup is done. And its flavor, it's amazing. This is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. And this is Nkulenu's Ghana's original spiced palm soup base. Iron fruit and turkey berries are naturally added.
Also available brown gold natural cocoa powder, sunny gold brown sugar, need for full flour, shito, pisap, and moringa. All available at Nyami Ado Enterprise, 1 Lower Waterloo Street, Freetown.
Inkulenu palm soup base.
Ghanaian original taste.
Looking for a company that got you covered on construction, finishing, tiles, and many more? Centerpoint got you. Centerpoint represents the biggest tile company in Spain and the second largest in the world. Yeah, at Centerpoint, we are specialized in polishing tiles, moxie tiles for swimming pools, doors tiles, doors, toiletries, and bathroom fitting, kitchen windows, double glazed windows, and doors. We have any type of glass, all sorts of electrical and electronics. We are also into office and house furnitures. CCTV installment. We build from start to finish. We have foreign engineers from London, Spain, Turkey, and Kosovo working side by side with us. So visit us today at number 95 in Lumley Regent Road or call us on +232 88 019 556 +232 76 280 622 or WhatsApp us on +44 79 44 24 0236, or you can visit our website at www.centerpointsl.com. Centerpoint, for you.
A place cannot produce poems. It can only not prevent them. And Freetown is good at that, for Freetown has its own sudden elegances. People are slow to leave it, quick to return. And there are others who come for a year or two and stay for a lifetime, sensing that they found a city that is in the world, yet sufficiently on the edge of it to have a different resonance. Let me tell you something about this city. All of us, we're all just passing through, and we've all been here. Those who came, those who stayed, those who never returned. Tides turn, seasons change. We've waited and we've watched. But we've always been here. We've always listened, because there is a different resonance here. It comes from the river, and the land, and the sky.
It's our place, all of us.
This city belongs to everyone.
And you know when it's your time.
And it's our
Hello and welcome to News Brief on the Hour with me, Cynthia Kamara. President Julius Maada Bio has been awarded with the He for She Champion and the Human Capital Development Awards by former President of Malawi and founder of Joyce Banda Foundation, Joyce Banda. The former Malawi leader said President Bio and his government has enacted the Gender Equality and Women's Rights Act and developed several policies that promote and protect the rights of women and children. Presenting the awards to President Julius Maada Bio, founder of Narcotic Center for Excellence, Dr. Princess Okansi, said the president of Sierra Leone was a talk-and-do president, as he has demonstrated in his free quality education flagship program that has enabled hundreds of girls to gain access to education. Dr. Okansi noted that the Human Capital Development Agenda has put Sierra Leone on the international stage and many peoples have benefited from it. Responding, President Julius Maada Bio expressed gratitude for being recognized with such awards. The president dedicated the awards to his mother, wife, sisters, and women of Sierra Leone. President Bio is the first president to receive such prestigious award in Africa. The Healthcare for the Aged, in collaboration with the Jagaban Charity Foundation, has provided free medical treatment to over 500 people in the east of Freetown. The initiative, held at the Health Center for the Aged office in Frobay community, covered a comprehensive range of medical services, including free eye scanning, HIV and AIDS, and hepatitis B test. Regional Coordinator Healthcare for the Aged organization Sheku Kaba said the initiative is part of an ongoing effort to provide free medical to vulnerable populations. He disclosed that the organization frequently collaborates with local hospitals and surgeons to offer free surgical operations for patients with critical health conditions. Mr. Kaba called upon more organizations to join the cause and support the healthcare need for vulnerable in Sierra Leone. Chief Executive Officer, Jagaban Charity Foundation, Mohamed Omodu Kama, expressed his satisfaction with the positive feedback received from beneficiaries. He emphasized the foundation's commitment to expanding free medical services throughout Sierra Leone, noting he was delighted to partner with Healthcare for the Aged for a noble cause. In a move to prevent and respond to cases of sexual and gender-based violence in tertiary institutions, SEND Sierra Leone and partners have rolled out a project on building respect and anti-violence education for women and girls in tertiary institutions. At the project inception meeting with the tertiary institutions, BRAVE project manager Augusta Kombe said the project would target 10,000 students across 10 universities in 7 districts. District project manager SEND Sierra Leone, Maya Majalo, said issues of sexual and gender-based violence were evident and alarming in tertiary institutions, noting that the organization will be working closely with university authorities and student representatives to protect students from sexual and gender-based violence. Partnership Management Wealth Hunger Life, James Alpha, noted that the German Development Corporation provided the support under its Women Empowerment Intervention following a survey conducted together with SEND Sierra Leone on the consequences of gender and sexual-based violence among students, especially women and girls in tertiary institutions. The Ministry of Planning and Economic Development, with the Sierra Leone Association of Non-Governmental Organizations, SLANGO, has held the first NGO week starting with health work in Freetown. The focus of the week-long activities is themed empowering communities for sustainable development. The health walk featured both local and international NGOs to celebrate the remarkable contributions of over 600 NGOs and non-profit organizations across Sierra Leone. The huge turnout on the very first ever NGO week was said to show their zeal in what they do to support government development